Hello, Mark here, trust you're well, and welcome to a recording of a live skills and support session for Lightroom and Lightroom Classic that I hosted on Monday the 9th of March 2026. This was the first part of 3 that we looked at the tone curve. Now, in my humble opinion, the tone curve is the most powerful editing tool that we have in Adobe Camera Raw. So we took this really slowly in explaining what the tone curve is. Then we went on to our mystery Lightroom short, where we looked at AI masking. And then we concluded our time together with your challenges. What do you need help with Lightroom and Lightroom Classic? Now, if you'd like to come and join us, I'd love to see you. Just visit lightroommark.com. Below the introductory video is our upcoming events. If you click on in the menu, all events, you'll see everything that's happening in 2026. If you need one-to-one support, just click on the support button and you'll have a video explaining how I can help you. So without any further ado, let's jump across to the recording, and happy editing. Elaine, you don't have to worry about Mr. Wilkinson. It's not the gin that you're drinking gives him the blurry background. He's got this fuzzy filter on it, okay?
Evening all.
All right, David.
Evening.
You okay?
Well, good, thank you. And to be fair, this is it is water, or it's affecting my eyes.
All right, okay. It's got that bittery vodka-y taste, does it? Right, okay. Evening, everybody. Hope you're well. This is the first of 3 sessions. We are going to slowly look at the tone curve. And the reason why I say slowly is I feel that the tone curve can appear very confusing or overwhelming. And I believe it's the most powerful editing single tool in Lightroom, Lightroom Classic and Photoshop. And the tool is exactly the same, irrespective of the application you use it in. Sometimes it might appear a different color or a different size, but the fundamentals are all the same. So as hopefully you're aware, Lightroom, Lightroom Classic and Photoshop uses the same editing engine, the same raw engine. Just like motor manufacturers, they use a lot of time the same engine in different cars across different manufacturers, so Peugeot, Renault, Nissan, Ford. They all use a lot of the same engine, which is made by Peugeot, especially the diesel engine. And they use a different computer to operate it differently. Well, it's exactly the same with Adobe Camera Raw. It's the same raw engine to edit our images. And then they overlay on top different user interfaces and other tools. So we're going to look at the parametric and the point curve and how the tone curve affects tone. And next week we'll look at how it affects color. Okay. And then later on we're going to look at AI masking. So for our Lightroom short this week, we're going to look at how Lightroom Classic will select particular subjects using AI. And there's a bit of explaining of the tool. So let's have a look at that as well. Okay, tone curve. So this is press I for information. It's a raw image. It was taken with a Nikon Z5 back in 2020. And just going to press D for the develop module. So this is just the standard user interface within Lightroom Classic. And we're going to start with global adjustments. So let's have a look to see if we've got anything in the history. And we've got loads of adjustments in the history. So I'm going to reset it. I clear all my history. There we go. There's the image. Now we're going to look at the first tool, which is the parametric curve. Now, in the parametric curve, you cannot adjust your black or your white point. There's no point down here or here that you can adjust. So we have to do that first in the basic panel. So let's reset all this. So the first thing I'm going to do is press J and turn on my clipping mask. And everything's blue is blacker than black. And we have to ask ourselves, let's just reset my, there we go. We have to ask ourselves, is it a meaningful black? So I'll press the J off. That is going to always be black. It's a shadow. There we go. I'm just setting the black value. That's all I'm doing. So black should be 0. And I'm just telling Lightroom Classic what black is. So there we go. There's nothing in, there's no little triangle in the square box at the top of the histogram. So by pressing the J, it turns on these clipping masks. Okay, and as default, these blacks are what they call crushed. Okay, so they're blacker than black. So I'm telling Classic that black has a particular value. In this case, about 53. Okay, that's all I'm doing. Same with the white. If you look at the histogram, I've got a little bit of leeway there, so I can move the slider. And when I go too far, you'll start seeing red appear. And a triangle will appear in the little box. This is the clipping mask, so I bring it back. And now, I'm at plus 20, plus 14, something like that. So in this image, I've got a black value of, compared to what I shot at plus 53. And I have a white value of plus 14. So it means I've moved all the histogram to the right, made it brighter. Okay. And all I'm doing is I'm telling Lightroom and Lightroom Classic and Photoshop what is black and what is white. All I'm doing is putting two bookends on a shelf. So it's the end of the shelf. That's all I'm doing. Okay. And you can, in the tone curve parametric tool, you have to do that in the basic panel, okay, to set your black and white point. So this is a bar graph, and we're going to look at tonal value: light, dark, dark. So negative light, that's black. Positive light is white. So all we're looking at is contrast, okay? And we have these 4 regions. So we have shadows, darks, lights, and highlights. And just as in the basic panel, we can adjust the sliders. Okay. And what we're doing, we can see this range. Can you see that slightly grayed out? That's a range of tonal values, a range of light. We are talking globally at the moment, the whole image. So I am increasing the tonal value, the brightness. You can see it's going brighter in the sky. I'm increasing that tonal value. I'm going plus. You can see that the bar graph, the line through the bar graph is going up. So it's going brighter. So I'm adjusting that part of the tonal range in the tone curve in the highlights, and same in the darks. Okay, I'm making them darker, I'm making them lighter. And you can see this line, this is the points, this is the values of light. you can see the line is being bent, and it's adjusting the light upon the subject within that range of light. And the parametric curve adjusts a range of light. Okay, so you select a region. So that these are the regions, okay, these 4 regions. And then you are adjusting the tonal value in that region. Is everyone okay with that? Yeah?
Thanks.
Yes, David?
I was just saying yes, thanks.
Okay. Now, if we have a particular image that is weighted, so you have a greater number of highlights or midtones or darks or shadows, and we want to make the range physically bigger, okay, like dividing a cake. The children might have a smaller slice, the adults might have a bigger slice, or if they're overweight like me, I'll have the smaller slice and the kids will have the bigger slice. But the whole cake is the whole tonal range of light. What we can do is these points down the bottom, you can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 regions, and we can move the points and change where those regions start and end. So I could say, right, my darks are right down here. So it's from 0 to 15. And then from 15 to 42 is my shadows. And then my highlights are from 42 to 69, and from 69 to 100 is my lights. So when I adjust the lights, I'm adjusting a greater range, a greater region. They're called regions, I call them ranges. Greater region and more, a larger amount. So you're adjusting or getting a bigger slice of that cake that I'm adjusting. Okay, all right, that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay, so reset. And just double click there. So if you press the Option Alt key where it says region, that will reset here. Press the Option Alt key, that's PC or Mac. So Option on a Mac, Alt on a PC, and you click on the little tags, and it'll reset them. Press here, that will reset them. So it's all a non-destructive. You're writing into the catalog. Okay. So what else you can do is we can take the little pipette and we can bring the pipette over to the image. And now you can see you've got a little black dot on the line, and that is the numerical value of that tone that I'm currently sitting on. Okay, so as I move it around, you'll see that point is, and if I click on the point, now my pen, I can do it with my mouse, is now touching the tablet, and if I go up, I am making that tonal value brighter, because going up is increasing the value. Bringing it down, you can see it's in the dark range. I'm bringing it down. So I'm globally adjusting particular areas of the image in tonal value. Okay. And why a lot of people like the parametric curve is it's gradation. It's like a feather. It's gently adjusting the associated tonal values of light around the part that you're globally adjusting, the value you're adjusting. So if I came into the sky, this bit here, if I wanted to make that bit darker, I click on the sky and I just bring it down, and it's going to make that value brighter. But as we can see in this tone curve, you can see actually in the curve, it's gradually brought it down. So it's got this nice subtle bend in the line. So it's affected the areas around it. So it's not artificial. Okay? Everyone understand that?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. So that's great. But I only want to adjust the particular dark bits in the sky, for example. I don't want to affect the dark bits in the landscape. I just want to make the sky, the dark bits of the sky, darker. Okay? Yeah, we can do that. Only for the last few years we can do that. So we go to the mask tool and let's delete these masks. Delete all masks. Okay, so I'm now going to add a sky mask. The AI is going to work out the physical area of the sky. That's all the mask does. It works out the area of the sky. And we'll talk about this a little bit later. I'm going to rename it. So I'm just going to double click on the word mask 1. I'm going to type sky. And I'm going to turn my overlay off. And then I come to curves. And I have exactly the same tool, but it's going to apply it to the mask. So I can come use the pipette if I wish, and I can click on the sky, but just on the dark bits. It's bringing, there's the tonal value, it's brought it down. Okay. Now, because this works as a point curve rather than a global range, I can adjust my black and my white point. So I can set a black point for the mask. So that particular area, I can say, I want those blacks even blacker than the global photograph. Okay. And how I do that is I click on the point in the corner and I bring it to the right. And it's making this value here, which is 23, that is now the value is now 23 of black. So what was 0, black is 0, white is 100, is now black is saying, whatever is 23 in a value or 0 to 23 in the values of light is now 0, black. So I've moved the bit up and I can take it. Oops, let's go there. Right, Command Z, undo that. Go to the point and then move it up. As you can see, look, the sky's getting darker in the top right corner because I am adjusting the black point. Okay. Now this will bend the curve. Yeah. Now the blues, because blue is a dark tone, is getting affected. I can bring down, oops, I come to the refine saturation. I can take the color out of this tonal curve. So it's now black is black on this mask only. Okay. So, and I can do the same with the whites. I get to the white pipette and I move it to the right. Can you see how I lose the detail? Okay. Because I'm telling more white is a lower value. I can bring the value down. Okay, so I'm making it darker, but I can also make more items or more total values white. Okay, but I'm just affecting the sky. All right. Now, if you love what you've done as a tone curve, you can actually save the tone curve, save it here. Okay, click save and it will save the tone curve. You give it a name, it saves it. So you can apply that tone curve to other images. You like that value of light and darks. Okay, so let's just close that. Go back to the main tone. So this is global.
Mark,
yes, David.
Just before you move on, can I ask, the one thing I didn't quite understand was on the tone curve,
yeah,
the pointer was in the middle. How did it get there?
So they're both the same. So let's go back to the mask.
Yeah.
So here, this point here, yeah, well, you can move that point anywhere you like. And what we're doing is we're applying whatever. This is a value. So this is your, if you think about it, it's a bar graph, okay? So this is x-axis. This is your y-axis on a bar graph. And this is 0 and this is 100, okay? And these are how many values of a particular light value do you have? So the higher to the right, so this way to the right, the number is, so let's say here, that is the brighter the image. And then the further up you go is how many are there in the image. Okay, so this value of white, which is a bright value of white, there's quite a bit of it because it's in the sky. There's lots of it. Okay, and you can move, going to your point, David, you can move this point anywhere you like. Okay, all right, and you're affecting, in this case, the sky, that tonal value. Okay, all right, so I'm adjusting these values of light and dark, and I'm sculpturing, I'm shaping them. How do I want this tonal value to apply to the light in the image? Okay, so this is all 0. This is 100, 100% if you want to say, for a better terminology. This is a value of 0. So it's 0, 0, just like in a bar graph, 0 x-axis, 0 y-axis. So this is nothing. White is 255. Okay, so 255 is pure white. So now we sit there and go, right, okay, so halfway, 50%, that's grey, middle grey, yeah, half black, half white, that's there. And we can now adjust that value of light, making it brighter, making it darker. Okay, we just adjust that, and I'm adjusting it in the sky. Okay, so you just click on the line, and it puts a point in there. And this is the value. If you want to say this point here, right, I've gone to the pipette, there it is there, and you can see the tonal value. You can see the point moving.
That's a bit I'd missed. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. That's if I want to select a value on the image. Okay, is that little pipette there? All right. So if you wanted to make the white brighter in your otter's eyes, you would use the pipette, click on the otter's eyes and drag it up, and the point will be over here somewhere, just to make them brighter eyes, okay? But this is a mask that I'm using to do it on the sky, okay?
Okay.
Mark, can I ask
Yes, lad.
I don't quite understand a lot of that, but I don't understand the bit where it moved from the 0, 0 when you moved along the x-axis.
Okay.
A wee bit.
We have a bar graph. This is a bar graph. Okay, let's reset. Reset. Okay, so we have a bar graph. Okay, this is the x-axis, and this is the y-axis. Black is 0. So if you've got 0 value, you've got no black at all, you'd have 0 is black, and you have none of it. So it's called 0, 0. Yeah? If everything was totally black, it would be 0 and 100. 100%, everything in the image is totally black. Okay? Then if you go, you're right with that? Elaine?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So if we go to the other extreme, if white is 255, the value of white, which appears down here on the X curve, and we had 0 value, right, at 255, it means there's nothing pure white in the image.
Yep.
But if the whole image was pure white, it would be 100%. So it'd be 255 at 100%. So the point would be right up here. Okay. And what we're now doing is we're controlling the value of light that we want in our image. And this week we're just talking about light. We're not talking about color. Okay. So this is pure white. This dot up here is pure white. Say 255, 255, yeah? And you can see it's 100 down the bottom. But I've got no pure white in this image. You can see, look, there's a gap here.
Mm.
So what I can do is I can say, oh, I've got no pure white. Right, let's bring it down. And I'm now telling what is white, or I'm going to adjust the value of white. Okay, so I'm saying, I'm looking at the image, what do I want white to be? And I'm adjusting in the sky quite precisely the technical value of white. I'm telling it what I want white to be. Okay, now I could do it this way by picking, this is the brightest part of the image, and I'm going to bring it down. And I want to make it darker. That's another way of doing it. And most people use the pipette. They go around the image and go, right, I want this bit darker. So I'm just going to click on this bit here and I'm going to bring it down very gently to make it darker. And I want this bit here slightly darker. So I'm going to put my pipette there and bring it down. Okay. All I'm doing is I'm adjusting, going up or down the value of light. Value of light is contrast, the difference between blacks and whites. Okay, and I'm adjusting the tonal values by a curve. I'm making a curve, right? And I can put standard tone curves, so strong contrast tone curve. I can put that in here and start adjusting it. These are presets. Okay, so this is my midpoint. This is black, this is white, so it's 50% in the middle, and it's halfway up, so it's 50-50, so that's middle grey. And now I'm making the mid-tones lighter or darker. Okay, you can see the mid-tones, not the darkest point, not the brightest point, it's going lighter and darker in the sky. Right, so I'm adjusting the value, the tonality, by the value of light. Okay. So this bit's a bit bright. So take the tool, click in here, bring it down. Bring it down. Just keep bringing it down. And I could go to the tone curve and say, I want this bit to come down. And keep adjusting it. It's a non-destructive tool. Okay? It allows us to, what's the option key? There we go. It allows us to adjust values of light quite precisely. Okay, and we can use it locally, which I'm doing there on the sky, or we can come globally, and globally will affect the whole image. So I could say, right, I'm going to come to the corner. I'm going to bring my blacks down. So I'm making my blacks darker here. And I'm also going to bring my whites over. Okay, there we go. All right. And now I'm going to take the pipette. Going to come into the sky. I'm going to bring that bit down in the sky. Okay, I'm going to bring that bit down there. But you can see I'm adjusting. You see, I'm actually clicking on the cloud here, top right hand corner. But look, it's affecting the whole image. And that's why we use a mask. Okay. Yeah.
Yep, I think I get that.
But this does a range. Can you see? It's a range. That area, it's affecting that. Can you see that light grey panel in the tone curve box? There's a light grey panel. Right? It's a range of tonal value. Using the parametric curve will only adjust the values around. It's feathered around the point that you're selecting. You can only select one point. So this point here, the tonal value, you can see it in the tone curve box, is right at the top there. I'm adjusting one point and I'm going up. I'm just moving my mouse up, making it brighter. I'm moving my mouse down. I'm taking it darker. But it will get to a point and I can't go any darker because I've reached the limit of the tonal curve in that range. Okay. All right. So I can't go any further. I've maxed out that slider basically.
Mm.
All right, I've maxed it out both ways. Okay. And it's a real precise tool of adjusting tonal range. All right. Do you understand that? Say no, and I'll go back through it. It's not a problem.
I actually have two questions, if I could.
Yeah.
The screen that you're on right now, and hopefully my questions build on each other. If you move down to just where it says region and there's 4 quadrants there,
Yeah.
just above that.
Yeah. These.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it coincidence that those 4 also happen to, there's highlights, lights, darks, and shadows? Do each of those 4
Yeah.
map to, okay, so each of those represents the sliders right below it.
So this is a region. This is
Yeah.
the lights. This is the highlights. This is the shadows, and this is the darks. And we can adjust the region. We can make the region bigger. So we've got
Yep.
a bigger tonal range in the shadows. And if I adjust, I'm adjusting the shadows. Okay, the slider. They
Yep.
work in it's the same tool. It gives you the option to say,
Yep.
actually, I want to use the point curve or parametric curve, or I want to use the slider. What are you comfortable with? So
Yep.
you can expand because you're in control. You Lightroom doesn't know what it's doing. You have to tell it what black is. You have to tell it what white is. And then you say, well, actually, you're telling me, Lightroom, you're telling me that this range is the shadows, but I want to make I want to include more tonal values in my shadows. And this is where we do it. We include
Yep.
more tonal range in our shadows by stretching the area of the tonal value. Okay.
Yep. And then
Stretching the area, that's like increasing the feathering effect?
Yes, exactly. Exactly, Joe. Yeah. What you're doing is you are expanding you're making the piece of the pie bigger for that person, and you are including more tonal range that you're going to adjust when you use that slider. Okay. So what you're doing is it's a global adjustment, but you're doing it on a larger area globally on the tonal value. Yeah, because I'm including more tones. These are tones. The tonal value 64 to 100, or yeah, 64 to 100. This tonal range here is now considered as a light. So I'm now increasing the lights. Yeah, or decreasing light. Okay, where highlights are this part here, I'm only affecting those values. Okay. All right. But it's a feather. You can see the grey areas. It's only affecting these tonal values around the point that you're adjusting. Does that help you, Thomas?
it does. My second question,
Yeah.
if we look at the graph that's right above the pointer, there's I'll call it a mountain.
This one?
Further. No, that's the histogram. A little bit further down.
This bit?
Yeah, that right there.
Yeah.
The black or the darker area represents, I'm going to use the word pixel, but sensor points throughout the entire photograph.
Correct.
So when you used, and I didn't pick up the term that you used to pick a particular point in the photograph, you used a pipette, I think you
Yeah,
know.
pipette, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So you're actually, and bear with me for simplicity, when you click a point, let's say you happen to click 32.
Yeah.
You're saying for every 32 in this photograph or in the range of 32, I want you to adjust whatever slider bar, whatever change you're going to make. You're
Yeah.
saying all 32s. So therefore, we're using a mask to isolate the quote 32s in my example
Yeah.
to the sky only.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
thank you.
we're doing it here globally, but if
No,
you
no, no,
did
right,
it,
right. But
yeah.
But in your example, you made a mask for the sky,
Yeah.
and if we were to pick point 32, it would
Yeah.
change the range for that particular
Yeah.
sensor point.
Right. So I've got close to 32 for you. If you look top left-hand corner, it says 38. That's off the tone curve box.
Yep.
And
yep.
I'm now sliding up and down. That's adjusting tonal value of 38. I've gone round trying to find somewhere close to 32. And now you'll see I'm going up and down. You'll see
Yep.
it's adjusting the whole image
Yep.
of that tonal value. But if you look, it's adjusting it in that range, that area. Okay, so let's find 30. There was a 32 there. 37, 30. There we go, 32. So there's your 32. And I've clicked on bottom left-hand corner, that dark patch, and now I'm adjusting it. You can see the shadow slider, right, going up and down, but it's only allowing me to adjust the tonal range in that selected area. So it's not adjusting the whites or the lights or the highlights. It's just doing it in that area. The tonal value of the image that you're selecting. This is the parametric tool, okay?
Yep, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry for the accent.
Nothing to be sorry about. All right.
What determines the size of that shadow balloon? Why
Are we
does
talking about the dark bit in the background? That's
no, the little balloon that goes around when you're on the curve,
that's down to each individual image. It's the technical data of the image.
But it's Lightroom saying you can only increase or decrease by this amount.
Correct.
Why
Because
does
that's
it
the tool.
Okay.
That's the tool. We'll come on to the point curve in a second.
Okay.
This is the parametric tool, and it is friendly to people that are starting out using the tone curve. It's a way of introducing contrast, the difference between black and white of a particular image. And we guide the viewer, because when you look at an image, it's what's in focus, the color red, and the brightness of the image. That's what you're drawn to in immediacy, the effect of looking at an image. Okay? So immediately your eye will be drawn to somewhere around here because it's the brightest part of the image. And then your subconscious takes over, your experience of life takes over, and you start scanning the rest of the image, ending up at the dark parts of the image. But immediately, if I gave you a photograph, this is why we use shallow depth of field, because the brain does not look at what's in focus to start with. The eye and the brain works together to look at what is the brightest part, what is in focus, and the color red. Our eye is immediately drawn to that. Then the brain takes over and we control the eye and our emotion and our viewing experience by scanning the image. Okay, so our experience, if it was a basketball player doing a layup, which is he's jumping up in the air and he's going to dunk the ball down into the hoop, the basketball player will be in focus. But once the brain has immediately looked at that part of the image and we've identified that, we'd start looking at and say, oh, how's he holding the ball? Who's in the background? What's happening in the background? And the more basketball images that we see, the more things that we would see in this particular image, because we're used to looking at that type of photograph. So let's reset this. There we go. So let's have everyone happy with that?
Yep.
You're adjusting tonal value within a range. That's the parametric curve. Okay. Just J, 4 regions, double click to the, yep, done all that. Okay, so now we're going to go on to the next tool for tonight. And it's basically the same, except it's the point tool. Okay, so it's the next tool along, and you can put, I'll stand corrected, but I'm 99.9% sure, 16 points along this tone curve. This gives you much greater control. You are in control of everything. And if I can give you one little tip, subtle. Be really, really subtle and gentle with this. Because if I do this, whoa, and I do that, whoa, you know, it's really quite dramatic what we can do. And what we can do is we can take tonal values. So we're going to use the point tool, pipette again, and I'm just going to click on the image and bring the tonal value down or up. So I'm just clicking on, and I'm just literally just see, you can see, look at all that contrast gone now. I've overdone it. Okay, I put a point in this part of the tone curve. Okay, and it's gone ballistic. So just be gentle with it. All right, you can see, look, I've blown it out, and now I've made it really soft. Okay, going to come up into the corner and bring that down. I'm affecting the whole image at the moment. Okay, so I'm now just going around and I'm adjusting by clicking and drawing up, drawing down the tonal value. Command Z undoes. It's your favorite keyboard shortcut. Control if you're on PC, Command if you're on a Mac, undoes the last thing you've done. And you can actually just step back. And if you look at the history panel here, so on the left-hand side, Command Z, can you see them? They're going up, they're disappearing. Okay, I'm undoing what I've just done. You do have it in the menu commands here. Redo and undo, Command Z. Okay, it's your favorite tool.
Mark, can I, sorry.
Yes, David.
You Command Z, if you did it 3 times, does it move 3 of your previous adjustments? Okay.
So 1, 2, 3. I've just undone the last 3 things that I did. It stepped back 3 actions. And if I want to bring them back, Shift Command Z will bring them back. That's called redo. Don't do that a lot. Okay, so you can toggle between, did I like that? Didn't I like it? Didn't I like it? Did I like it? Okay, so Command Z is your favorite tool. So if I wanted to bring all those back again, I'm pressing Shift Command Z, or it will be Shift Control Z on a PC, and I've brought them all back. Okay, so Command Z undoes one, undoes the next one, undoes the next one, undoes the next one. So what the point tool does is exactly the same as the parametric, but I have full creative control. Okay, so if I want to take this point here and make that value of light darker, and then come down to it again a bit further, bring that value a bit down. Okay, and I want to bring this value down. Just clicking in there, you can see, look, I've gone way too much. And you can slide up and down the line and get your point and your value to how you want the image to look. Okay, so I quite like the bottom like that. Let's go to the sky. So we go up to the sky. Okay, I've reset the sky. So I'm now just going to affect the sky. Let's bring my darks over. There we go. Okay, let's bring my whites down. Okay, value. Bring it over, down. Keep bringing it over and down. All right, so there we go. Something like that. Okay, I'm setting a tonal value. Now, because I've got my point curve here, I'm going to come here. That's the value. I'm going to bring that value down. Okay, all I'm going to do is I'm adjusting the values of light in the sky. That's all I'm doing. I'm making a value of light brighter or a value of light darker. If I do it with a mask, I'm doing it locally. If I'm doing it in the tone curve panel without a mask, I'm doing it globally. Okay. Now, sometimes when you apply the tone curve, it affects colors, saturation. Sometimes colors become a bit saturated. Let's just undo that. So if we come to this refine saturation, I can take, undo that. I can take, there we go, take out some saturation. So I'm taking out the color. So it's only affecting, there we go. Now the blue is not so blue in the sky. I've desaturated that part of the tone curve. And if I go back to the main histogram, sorry, the tone curve, I can do the same here. So refine the slider. This is globally. I'm going to click on here. There it is. I'm just desaturating the tonal value of light. Okay.
And it just affects if you're between 2 points.
Yeah.
The feathering is only between those 2 points.
Yeah. What you're doing is you're adjusting the tone between these 2 points. That's totally correct, Jay. So I'm adjusting the tonal value here, right? Mainly between this point here and this point here. It may sometimes just go up slightly. So I think in this case, yeah, it's slightly just affecting the tone curve here, but most of it will be between these 2 black points. So this tonal value, if I hover there, can you see the top left-hand corner of the box under the word adjust? You can see there's a value. Okay. So the value 103, that's the bottom number, and it's got 96. So as I go up, it increases, go to the right increases, to the left increases. So this number that's here, that is the physical value of the value of light and how bright it is. Okay? So how big a cup is, how much water you got in it. 2 values, yeah? What is the value of light? How bright or dark it is. The higher the number, the brighter it is. The amount that you've got is how much in the image is that value. Yeah. And realistically, we don't need to know all this. All we need to do is sit there and go, right, I want to make this bit a bit darker. So I'll bring over, I'll bring the pipette tool in and bring it down. And I want to bring this bit here a bit darker. And there's the value, and I just slide on it and bring it down. Okay. And once I've got my point, I can adjust the point how I see fit. And you can see, look, it's adjusting the sky as well as adjusting the grass.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's have a look at another image quickly.
Well,
David.
when you did the parametric curve, you set white and the black point. Do you do that with this, or is this
you can do that within. So this is why I've gone to this one. Right. You can see the histogram in the back is totally different. So I take the black point. You can see all the clipping here. Okay. I can take the black point. This is globally, and push the blacks to the right. You see they've disappeared now. Right. That I've now recovered using, like, for example, it used to be called the recovery slider in the early versions of Lightroom, but I've opened up the shadows. Well, I'm doing it with a tone curve. I've got much more precise adjustments here.
Does that introduce any noise?
It will, but the noise. So when you process your image, the first thing you should do is denoise it. So as a part of your workflow, you should be coming to your detail panel and denoising your image. The reason why is if you've got a clean image to start with, then you are not amplifying that by making your tonal adjustments. Okay, so we should always, and Adobe has got this list of things that they like to do in a particular order, especially when you're starting to use masks. There's a tool here, it says update your masks. Denoise is the first one. I think the second one is HDR. The third one is panoramics, I believe. Scratching my brain now, but I know the first two definitely is you do your denoise first, and then you do your HDR, because that's where you create your noise. But yes, when you open up this, it's about being subtle. So we go back to our tone curve, and it's about being subtle. Because if I start pushing things, really trying to bring back some information, I start introducing noise. Yeah. So it's about being subtle with your tools. Yeah. You put your ballet shoes on, not your massive big walking boots. All right. And then we don't introduce noise because I'm being subtle. I'm adjusting them subtly. Okay. So, and again, I could save this tone curve. Yeah. Right. I like those. Perhaps I did a load of images walking around here, just slightly differently each one, and I want to apply that tone curve to every single image. Well, I could save the tone curve and apply that to all the images rather than manually doing to each of them. Okay. So you're adjusting. These are values. Darkest point at the bottom left corner, 0 and 0. Brightest point up here. Okay. And these are tonal values. So as we go along to the right, we go from dark to brighter, 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 brighter to the brightest. And then how much of the image is dark, how much of the image is light. And that's the value going up the box. Okay, so a value down here will be very low numbers of darkness. Okay, but if I had a value up here for darkness, that will be a lot of the image would be dark. Okay, coming over this side, this is brightness, it's the light parts. If I had a value down here, there would be very few parts of the image that would be bright. But if I was up here with my value, I'd have lots of parts of the image that would be bright. For example, a snow picture. Okay, the histogram will be all over this way. That's why when we take a snow picture, we should be shooting approximately 2 stops underexposed. Okay, so we're making, because the camera's looking for middle grey, but it's seeing white and it thinks it's all middle grey. So we reset that. Okay, so has anyone got any questions about that?
No, thank you.
Anyone else?
Thank you.
Right, okay. So and again, holding the Option Alt key can reset everything. Remember, you're just putting it into the database, into the catalog. You can reset. Command Z, you can go back. You do not break anything. So I've got my clipping mask on, J. Okay. I'm in the point tool. I've got no sliders now. I'm adjusting the points. I could come to open up my shadows. But you can see it's got, it hasn't taken them all out. And it's got a bit washy. But if I go to the tone curve and I say, right, let's increase the value of black. There we go. And it hasn't gone washy. And and I've only increased it by 11 points. I've been really gentle with it. Okay. It's about understanding what the tool does, using the right tool at the right time. And there's no set answer. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
It's something you just got to keep playing with, and you'll have those eureka moments. Oh, I've got that. I understand it now. All right, but we'll spend more time on it next week, but we'll introduce color next week. And then week 3, we'll bring them all together. So we'll look at light and color and how we can totally, just using the tone curve, edit an image. Okay. And you have that precise detail. Right. Anything else? No, I think that's that. I think that's that. Okay. On to Lightroom Short for this week. We are going to look at AI masking. Because I get asked quite a lot, especially on YouTube, explain AI masking. So let's take this image here, 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 and this image here. Press N for survey mode, tabs to hide everything. What do we have in common here? Anything?
Sky.
Yeah.
Building.
Architecture. Yeah. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, yeah. 7 AI masks in Lightroom. There's sky, mountains, water, architecture, vegetation. There's natural ground and artificial ground. And what Lightroom will do is use its AI to identify that narrative. Okay? So we take this image here, go D, we go to our mask tool, and we can select landscape. And it's going to select different masks. And it's selected 2 masks. One is architecture. Okay. That's the selection. Okay. And then we create the mask. And there we go. And then if we go back again, we go create new mask. We can create landscape and it gives us sky. Okay, there's the sky, create the mask. Okay, simple as that. Yeah. But the architecture changes. So this is an architecture mask. All right. Now, what we could do is we could save this mask as a preset. Save as a preset. Okay. And we can just save the mask. There we go, mask here. All right. And if I rename them, so this was mask 1, okay, I could rename this. All right. So I go here, create. All right. All right. I'm going to untick all. And that's mask 1. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. And what it's done, I've saved the architecture mask to a preset. What I could do is, let's find this building here. And let's go to D. I could apply that mask. And if it works, update mask. It will then apply that to the building. He says, come on. There you go. Show overlay, that would help. There you go. It's applied that mask, okay, to the building. So I've created a preset for an architect mask. And I could do the same for sky. So this is an old image. There's sky there. Sky there. Let's turn the overlay on. There's the sky. Okay. I could create a preset of the mask. It's actually not that's a manual mask. So I'm going to go select sky. There's my sky here. So I'm just going to call it Sky 3 so I can identify it. All right. So now, because I've used AI, you go plus, great preset, Sky. And I'm going to go Sky 3 is what I want. I'm creating a preset for that. And what I'm doing is I'm creating a workflow, a command. Okay, I've identified what the sky is. I've created a command that I can now go to another image. And it's not the mask, the physical space. What it is the command of creating a sky mask. Okay. Sky 3, there it is. There's my sky mask. It's automatically created. I've got to create, it's an action. I've got to create a sky mask. The skies are totally different and it works that out for you. Okay. So if you've got similar images, you can train it to select the sky of each one. So let's say you were on a boat going down the river and you took one picture, a few seconds later another picture, and a few seconds later another picture. The tree on the bank may have moved down the image. It started on the left, and then it was in the middle, now it's on the right. You'd apply the same preset mask and it would then cut round the tree. And that's what's great about the AI masks. It's speeding up your workflow. Okay. So let's have a look at this one. This is a stock image. And we come to landscape. And it's going to identify several different narratives. So we've got sky. We've got mountains. We've got vegetation, which are on the mountains as well as on the tree. But we've also got water. And what you can do is we can select all of them and create 4 individual masks and edit them appropriately. We can save each of them as a preset and apply them to similar images. We walked around this lake and we got very similar images. And it would apply the same mask. It would learn each time. Yeah? Then you get into the ethics and the morals of using AI. I have no problems in doing what we're doing here because it's a workflow. It's speeding up my editing where I would not take these rocks out. So I wouldn't go here, remove tool, turn those on. I wouldn't go like this. Okay, I wouldn't use the AI, right, to select all of that. And we just wait. It's analyzing, creating the mask. It's going to remove those now. It's going to remove all the shadow and everything. I wouldn't do that because my ethics and moral of image taking is I want to capture what's there. But what I do is I use the tools to make it easier for me to edit the images. And that's what AI masking does. It allows us to take an image and go landscape, and it's artificial ground. It's all the pavement. Okay. So there we go. That would have taken me ages to do that. And yes, I probably could just come in here and tidy this little bit up here. But all I want to do is make it darker. Turn my clipping mask off. Just make it a little bit darker. I want to take the eyes away from the ground. Yeah. I'm using the mask there. How quick was that? How easy was that? Yeah. And that's what AI masking allows us to do. As I say, we've got sky, we've got mountains, got water, got architecture, got vegetation, you've got natural ground, and you've got artificial ground. And I want to show you the difference between the two natural, this one here. This is an image that I took in Minehead. Okay, so I'm going to go landscape. Right, architecture, sky, vegetation, artificial ground. Look at that. Ready? Natural ground. There's your grass. There's your pavement or walkway. And there's your vegetation. Hasn't done too good round the tree. But look at that. Those two there. Just one click. And that's AI masking. It's a tool to get you there. So that artificial ground, click there, go click, create. There's my mask. Just want to bring the darkness, make it a bit darker. It's been raining. I just want to make it a little bit darker. Two clicks. So artificial masking, really, really powerful. Anyone any questions about that?
No.
No? Yeah? Really, really, really powerful artificial masking. It's a tool. And then what you can do is you can use the add and subtract, and you can add extra things to it. So if it's missed something out or overbled, you could use the brush with auto mask, remove or add, and taking that tonal value, we could add something to it or remove
the audio
something.
they switch off, so you can't hear us talking.
Yes, we can, Jay. David, we can hear you.
Can you?
Yeah. You can't have any more cake this week, mate. You've eaten it all.
Biscuits.
Oh, biscuits. No, we know him so well. Yeah, so artificial AI masking, really, really powerful tool. I have no problems with the ethics of using that as a tool, but I wouldn't use it to remove something that I didn't want in the photograph. I would photograph it in a particular way that that item wouldn't be in there. Or if it was a can of Coke on the beach and I didn't want it in there, I'd remove it from the shot. Okay. And there's people selection. So there's people selection and people removal and you can select faces and eyes and teeth and so on, all on portraits, all the similar technology, all artificial masking. Really, really powerful. Okay, well, I hope you found that of interest. Yeah. So that's your short for this week. Next week is tone curve colors. So we're going to look at the RGBs. And then the week after, we'll bring tonal value and RGB. So just literally editing an image in the tone curve. It's not something that I do, but it's when you start realizing what you can do with it, it's really, really powerful. And then you start moving towards using the tone curve. So who's got questions? I know one young lady here tonight should have questions. Come on,
Don't
Heather.
look at me.
Yeah, no, Heather's got some questions.
I have a question.
Yes, Jay.
Although this may be very specific. I'm really unhappy with the editing of my black and white pictures.
Yeah.
That have been scanned from a negative in Negative Lab Pro.
Yeah.
What I find is that I don't have rich blacks and nice whites. And maybe it's because I don't use the tone curve. Perhaps if I use the tone curve. The problem is things are working backwards. because it's a black and white from a negative.
Yep.
Should I don't think Negative Lab Pro, if you edit within that, I don't think you have a tone curve.
I haven't got it in this. When we have our one-to-one tomorrow, Jay.
Okay, let's, because
through
this is very specific to my particular problems.
So you can invert the tone curve. So where I was showing you in the bottom left-hand corner, that point, if you go up that side and down that side, you invert the tone curve.
That's how you do it by manually, but Negative Lab Pro does that for you. Anyway, we'll talk about this tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll talk about it tomorrow. I'll be in my work login, so I'll show you mine. So
okay.
Mrs. Robinson, if you want to unmute, because I know you've got a couple of questions. You need to unmute yourself.
Done it.
That's it. Well done.
Brilliant. Thumbnails.
Thumbnails, yeah.
Yeah, I was asking what they are and about them.
Yeah.
And I said, perhaps raise this tonight.
Okay. These are thumbnails. Okay. So you can adjust the size of your thumbnails. Okay. So everything you see on the screen in front of you, apart from the develop module, is a preview. That's a preview. When you go D, that's now the raw file, or you're looking at the file. Okay, so they're all thumbnails. You can regenerate your thumbnails. So select all, I'm selecting these images. That's Command A or Control A. Go to the library menu, come down to previews, and you've got build standard size previews. So it's going to rebuild these previews. If you want to change the quality or the size of the preview, that's because you may have bought an external monitor, a bigger monitor, and you want bigger previews. Because when you do this, it's pixelated. Okay. You would come up to your catalog settings and go into previews, and you would generate your previews. Okay, so you select your size, whatever size you want, and the quality, whatever you want. Now, if you do use one-to-one previews, which is what I do, you can delete them after a period of time, but I don't. And what is a one-to-one preview? Well, it allows me just to see there's no rendered time at all. And if I go to the develop module, there's no render time at all because all my images are one-to-one. But in my work catalog, my preview file is 1.7 terabytes. That's the consequence. I talk about consequences a lot in photography. Having a tripod, the consequence is you've got to buy it and carry it, right? But you want it to take long exposures. The consequence of having them all one-to-one previews is you've got a massive, great big preview file by the side of your catalog. So I'll show you that. General there. So here, my preview size is 1.9 gigabytes in this particular training catalog. But if I go to my work catalog and I go to, where am I going? Going there. There we go, 1.7 terabytes. Okay. A lot of people only have 1 terabyte drive. Well, that drive is that file is 1.7 terabytes because I have one-to-one previews. But I'm fortunate I have a 4 terabyte drive that holds my Lightroom Classic catalog. So I can work in one-to-one previews, and the advantage is there's no render time. Okay, so you can adjust your previews. Now we go to catalog settings. You can adjust your preview size by here. And then if you change your preview size, You then have to rebuild your previews by selecting all, come down to Lightroom, come down to rebuild your previews. And you can disregard your one-to-ones and build one-to-ones here as well. Okay, Heather, you got another question?
I think I shall have to re-look at that.
Yeah, okay.
And go through it quite slowly to fully understand it. But thank you.
Okay, was there anything else you wanted?
I've just got the thumbnails down for tonight.
Okay. You were asking about the grid view and expanded view. So I've made these thumbnails bigger, and in expanded view, or you have what they call compact view and expanded view. So grid, and we come down grid view, and we have compact view, which just gives you this number and one piece of information. So this is photograph number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6. Okay, and the file name. But if we come to view and we go to expanded view, you now get these 4 fields and the associated attribute data. So how do you control what's in these 4 fields here? Well, you can click here and do it, but the normal way that I do it is I go to viewing information, and we've got grid view and expanded. That's another way of doing it. And
I don't
these
think you're sharing your screen.
Oh, aren't I? Oh, sorry. No, I am.
There you are.
Are you definitely?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Are you on the right view, Thomas?
Yeah, I just realized there's tabs at the top. That's on me.
Okay. So you've got your grid view, and you can change from compact to expanded here again. But down the bottom, it's got expanded cell options, and these 4 are the 4 that are here. So file name, file base name, extension. So is it a JPEG? Is it a RAW file, CR2, NEF, NRF, ORF, or ORT, isn't it? I think Olympus. Then you've got dimensions, the crop. So there we've got the dimensions here. And then the megapixels, how big the file is. So why would you have all that? Well, let's say you've got 2 duplicates, they're the same. Well, you'd have the raw file, it would say raw, RAW, depending on your file format, DNG, CR3, and this one's a JPEG. Well, you could delete the JPEG if you so wanted. So it's a quick way of identifying what's there. You might have the old workflow, because last week we talked about cropping and aspect ratio and so on. You might have lots of images, all different sizes, because you did that in Photoshop and you saved them all. And you've now realized that you can do them all using what we're going to use. We're not going to use virtual copies. We're going to use
Snapshots.
snapshots. Well done. We're going to use snapshots to record the aspect ratio of a crop, which means we haven't got to produce multiple images. It's all in one image, one file, saving disk space. But up here will tell you, it's this cell here, current dimensions, what the crop is. So you might have 10 images because you've exported a 6x5, a 6x4, a 5x7, a 8x6, a 10x8, a 16x12, whatever, and you've got them all there. Well, you don't need those anymore. You've realized you've changed your workflow, you've got new skills, new ways of doing things. You can remove all those crops because you've got the original. And by looking here, you can see what the shape, the size of the images. So that's what all these are for here. And by using the grid view Excel expanded, you get these 4. And these are all customizable. If I click on it, look, you've got all these things here. So you can put capture time, you can put anything you want in there. Okay, and it's down to individual what you want. Then down the bottom, you can have show color label and show your rotating in the footer. Okay, and also your So you rotate it and also your star rating. Okay, so here's you got your stars, so I can click 5 stars on it if I wish. I can click a color label on it if I wish, or I can rotate the image if I so wish, all within the grid view. Without having to go anywhere else, I can see all of this. And that's what the expanded cell does. Now, the other thing you asked for about Helen was this here. So when you look in the loop view or in the develop view, you have I for information. Okay, and it brings up this here. And you have 2 panels. You have panel 1 and panel 2, and then it gets turned off. Okay, and you can select the information that you want here. So if we got to view, loop view option, and here it is, I to cycle through, and we can select what we want. Okay, and we can program it. So loop view information. So over loop view, let's go viewing options. There we go. So viewing options, loop view. Okay, that's where we are now in the loop view. And you've got info 1 and info 2. And you have these 3 drop downs. So the top one, file name. Okay. Second one, date and time, and crop size. And there you go there. Then you get crop image number 2. So you could have file name again. And this one might be, I don't know. What camera did you take it with? So let's have a look. Let's have a look, see what we got. Camera or camera model. Okay, it takes it from the EXIF data. And we could turn around and say, right, camera, oh, there we go. Camera lens and settings and camera and lens. Okay, so that's in loop 2. So let's go to an image that's probably got it. So let's find some of this one here. There we go. So there's my file name. It was taken with the Nikon Z7 II with a 2470 2.8 shot at 24mm. Press I. Yeah, and I can change all this information, and I've got the RAW and JPEG on this file. Okay, I can change this information, and it's quickly just viewing that information. So in my workflow, I'd sit there and go, all right, okay, oh, I've got the raw JPEG, 45 meg. All right, it's 8,000 pixels. Click on it. And what's the shutter speed? All right, got it there. And I can change that information. So I for information, press it once, that's panel 1, panel 2, press it again, it disappears. Okay, very, very quick way of identifying. It's all about workflow. Identifying what tool, what skill do you need, what's your outcome, and working out a methodical workflow. Once you've done that, you can do things in a fraction of the time. But half the problem is not knowing what there's available.
Yeah.
All right, Heather?
Yes, that was useful. Thank you.
No problem. David, were you going to say something? I thought I heard your voice there.
Not me, no.
Okay, no problem. So Heather had a one-to-one earlier in the week, and she had some extra questions. I said, let's do that. We were running out of time. Let's do that on Monday night. So that's what we've done, shared that with you all.
Thank you.
Okay, so I for information, and the expanded cell gives you more information. So you're not moving all around and so on. You can see the information in front of you with the other images. And you can change all those little 4 boxes. You might want to put shutter speed in there, for example. So you might want to, you've got a selection of images. You might want to see in the grid view all the shutter speeds. And you might just want to see that for that shot. You know, that shoot, that time that you're photographing, then you can change it back to whatever you want to do. All right?
Yeah.
Anyone else? Any questions? No? No one got any problems? Okay then. Well, next week, as I say, tone curve, RGB, red, green, and blue. So we're going to look at colour, adjusting colour. And then the week after, we'll bring them all together, editing an image just with the tone curve. Okay. And then we've got the mystery short as well. So if nobody else has got any questions, we'll see you next week. And I will endeavour to get the recording up tomorrow morning for you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And
thank
Jay,
you.
I'll see you tomorrow. All right.
Yep,
Good night.
see you tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, mate. Night all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.